Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to create a responsive pricing table using just HTML and CSS. So if you are new to this channel and you're interested in anything web development, make sure you hit the subscribe button and leave a like on this video if it helps you out. Now let's get right into it. So inside the HTML document, type in the exclamation sign and press tab to generate this boilerplate for a standard HTML5 document. Now, inside the head section, you go into the title and change it to pricing table. Then we add a link to the CSS file, style.css, which is empty for now, but we set styles for it. Then in the body of the HTML document, we first create an H1 element with an inner text of our pricing plan. And when we refresh, it appears over here. Then we create a div section with a class name of wrapper, and this will be the containing element for all other elements. First, we start with the basic plan. So you create a div section with a class name of card. And inside this card element, we'll first have an H3 element with an inner text of basic. Then we have a P element with a class name of price and an inner text of $9 per month. Then we'll have an unordered list that will contain list items of the features of the plan. Now we want to add the checkmark emoji. So if you're using the Windows computer, just press the Windows key and the period character, and then we'll go into the emoji section and click on the checkmark. Then the first plan should be one project. Then we copy and paste this 2 additional times. And we change the inner text of the list items. Now the last thing in the card, we'll add an anchor element with a class name of button and an inner text of get started. And this will be it for the first plan. So we copy and paste the whole thing. And this time we are moving to the popular plan or the standard plan. So paste it here and then we change the inner text to fit the standard plan. Then we add a class name of popular to the div section. And before the H2 element, we'll add a span element with a class name of badge. Then an inner text of popular. And the last plan will be the premium plan. So again, we copy this plan here, the card element, and we paste it here, and then we change the inner text to fit the premium plan. And this will be it for the markup of our project. So now in the CSS file, we'll add some styles for our project. So we first select all elements with the global element selector and then reset the margin, the padding, and then set the box sizing to border box. Next, we start the body. So set the font family of the body to Arial and a fallback font on sans serif. Then we add a background color and also a pattern of 2 rem. And the text color, we change it to a dark color. Next, we start the H1 element. So set the text align to center. And you add a margin button to it. Next, you start the wrapper div. So the wrapper class name, set the display of this wrapper class name to grid. So we set it to a grid layout. And we first add a border so we can see it. Then we add a grid template column. And you want to repeat the rule as much as possible. So first add the auto fit rule. So that as long as there is enough space here, many items will fit on just one row as possible. And we want to set the minimum and maximum width of the grid item. So the minimum width of the grid item should be 250 pixels. And we add one FR so that so far as there is space here, all the items will have equal width. And we add a gap of 1.5 REM to it. And this will make it responsive, just as we see here. Now we set the maximum width of the wrapper div to 1100 pixels and add a margin of 0 for the vertical and auto for the horizontal. So that will be at the middle of our viewport. Next, we start a card div. So with the class name of card, change the background color to white. Set the border radius to 15 pixels. Add a padding to it. Now set the text align to center. And we add a box shadow to it also. Then we set the position of the card to relative. Next, when you hover over the card, we want to do something. So with the hover pseudo class, set a transform to scale by 1.05. So when you hover over it, you increase the size. Then we come back and add a transition, 0.3 seconds. Then we remove the border from the wrapper div. We don't need it anymore. Next, we start the popular div section. The div section with the class name of popular, which is the standard offer. So with the class name of popular, we add a border of 2 pixels solid to it. And then you increase the size to scale by 1.05. Now inside the popular div, we'll have a span with the class name of badge. So let's start the badge also. Set the position to absolute. And this will take it out the normal flow of the document. And because we set the position attribute of the card div itself to relative, that means the badge will stick to the card div itself. Then let's position it also. Set the top positioning to negative 15 pixels. And then the right positioning to 28 pixels. And change the background color. And the text color, set it to white. Increase the font size. And add a border radius, 20 pixels. Then we add a padding also of 0.5 REM and 0.8 REM. Next, we start the H3 element inside the card. So with the card class name, any H3 element, so we add a margin button of 1 REM And the font size, we increase it to 1.5 rem. Next, we start a p element in the class name of price. So the card class name, any price class name also, increase the font size to 2 rem and add a margin of 1 rem for the vertical, 0 for the horizontal. And the font width, set it to bold. Next, we start the unordered list. So the UL, remove the list style, which is the bulletin, and add a margin to it. Then we set the text align to center. We center the text. Next, in the unordered list, start the list items. So we add a padding to the list items. And then we add a border bottom of 1 pixel solid and a gray color. And this will be like an underline of the features. Next, we start the anchor element with the class name of button. So the class name of button, we set the display to inline block so that we can style it as we want. And we add a margin top of 1 rem and we add a padding also. Next, we change the background color. And the text color, we change it to white. Then we add a border radius, 30 pixels, to round in the corners of our border. Then remove the underline by setting the text decoration to none. And we increase the font size also. And the font width, set it to bold in the text. Now, when you hover over our button, we want to do something. With the hover pseudo class, we first decrease the size by setting the transform to scale down by 0.95. And then we add a box shadow also. When you come back and add a transition of 0.3 seconds so that it will have a smooth transition. So yeah, that's how to create a responsive pricing plan using HTML and CSS.